Hello there, children. Hello there, children. Today we're going to talk about 13. It's a micro solitaire puzzle game using only 13 cards. Some cards have instructions and other cards have arrows, and I'll explain a little bit more about this, but I have a playthrough video, a quick and easy guide that I'll post after this video so you can look at that. It's a micro puzzle solitaire game, like I said, designed by myself. I mean, let's be honest. What's the point of having a YouTube channel and not being able to toot my own horn, right? And dual brain games. Anyway, 13 cards. Let me show you a little bit. Look at this little case. I love this little case. Little tuck case. Instructions, but I suggest you watch the video. And some cards with numbers and arrows on them. Okay. So there are 13 cards, and there are over 6 billion combinations with 13 cards. So the origin of this game, I mean, in the flavor copy, it says that a version of this game is said to have been found at a UFO site in Texas back in the 80s. That's partially true, because I lived in Dallas in the 80s, and just outside of Dallas, there was some rumors of UFOs and stuff. And I don't remember if it was that night or a couple of nights later or the night before. I had this dream about a game. I've always played games, and I had a dream about this game where there would be arrows and instructions, and it was a puzzle sort of game. So every few years I would think about it, but never sat down and actually tried to work the game out. So 20, 30 years later, I did sit down. I remembered the little game. It wasn't fully structured yet in my mind. So I sat down with little pieces of paper and I started putting arrows and instructions. And it just felt right at some point. And I finally said, okay, this might be it. So then I played it 100 times and it seemed to work well. And I gave it to some friends and they liked it. It's a very quick game. You play it very quickly. The idea is that you want to remain with one card in the end. If you can't remain with one card in the end, you lose. Now, sometimes you're going to remain with a low number card, like a 4. That's just a way to survive. Or maybe the 11. But really, you want to keep the 13 at the end. That's the highest value card in this little game. So some cards will have instructions, which says this one, remove an even number card. And that means that you can just activate this card, because that's what you're going to do with these 13 cards. They're set up in a 5-3-5 configuration. So you activate a card, so you would remove this card, and then you would remove an even number card from anywhere on the table. And you have remove odd card here, and you have cards like this that say remove first card. Now, on the 5-3-5 configuration, the card on the top left, that is the first card. So if that card's not there anymore, then there is no first card. Just as in, there's another card here that says remove last card. The last card would be on the bottom right. That is the last card. If that card is not there, then there is no last card, and you can't really activate this. But you activate it, and then you remove it, and then in this case you would remove the card in position number 1. Let me talk to you briefly about the arrows. Okay, so let's say we have this set up here on the table, right? You have these 3 cards on the table. Well, you would, the way the arrows work is that you activate the card and then you remove it, and then you remove the card that it affects. In this case, the arrow is pointing to the 11, so you would activate this card and remove the 11, so both of these come off the table. Now, let's just say the 11 card wasn't here and you had this space in between. Well, that doesn't work, because for the arrows to work, the cards need to be directly adjacent. If they're not directly adjacent, this 4 activated could not remove this 13 from the table. Okay? And the same goes for diagonal. If you activate the 13, you could remove it and remove this 4 up here because the arrow points to it. But if there's a space in between them, and I don't have a lot of screen room here, but if there's a space in between them, the 13 cannot jump that space to remove the 4 because it needs to be directly adjacent, and there is no card directly adjacent to the 13, so it can't be removed. But like I said, I'm going to be putting a little quick and easy playthrough video so you can learn how to play the game. Right now the game's only available through Board Game Geek, so on the page for 13. So if you go there, you can Google Beresford 13 BGG and that'll pop up. I'll try to put a link on the description below, or you can get it through the Game Crafter, which is where I print these. All right, so 13, little puzzle game, solitaire, and highly addictive.